Hey guys, welcome to Smoky Mountain Taco. If you ever need to change spark plugs on a 3rd Gen Tacoma 2016 to 2023, this is your video. Let's do this. Now here's some of the tools you're going to need. You're going to need a swivel magnetic spark plug socket, 3/8 inch to 1/2 inch socket adapter, 3/8 inch universal joint, 3/8 inch ratchet, 1/2 inch ratchet, 10, 12, 14 millimeter sockets, a long ratchet extension, anti-seize lubricant, dielectric grease, screwdriver, long needle nose pliers, and 6 Denso spark plugs, 4705 for the Tacoma. I recommend electric ratchet, magnetic sockets or inserts, small vice grips, small pliers, patience, and a cold drink. Here's a visual of some of the tools you'll need. Now let's talk about that magnetic spark plug socket. Found this on Amazon. I'll put a link to the description down below. But it is magnetic and it is swivel, and it makes taking out spark plugs much easier. Alright, let's remove the cold air intake. Needs to be 10 millimeter sockets. Recommend the electric ratchet here. Makes it a little easier getting done quicker. Now let's remove the air filter cover, and then we'll remove that MAF sensor connector. We'll just pull up, pull out of the throttle body. Then we'll remove some of these clips holding some of these connectors and hoses on. That hose is removed. Take out the air filter. Alright, we got a connector back here we can just plug out back there, pull out. Now it's removed. Alright, let's turn off the auxiliary power supply, disconnect our battery. If you want more information about that auxiliary wiring setup, be sure to check out this video up here in the top right. Let's put a rag down over the top of that, so we'll ensure there's no juice flowing here. Alright, let's protect ourselves from all these chemicals. Alright, let's open up our first spark plug. And as you can see, it's a Denso Iridium 4705 for 3rd Gen Tacoma. And I got these from O'Reilly's. Okay, there's our spark plug socket, and you can see how it fits right in there, and it is magnetic. I love this. Means we're not going to have to worry about drop spark plugs or anything else going down in there. It is magnetic. Alright, let's prepare our spark plugs. Alright, we're going to get some dielectric grease, and we're going to put it around the white portion of the spark plug, just so our connectors and our coils can come off easily in the future. Alright, so we're going to put some anti-seize on this, just to make sure it never seizes up and we can get it out in the future. And this is from Permatex, and I'll put a link to this down in the description. Let's get that in the grooves. Alright, one's prepped. Let's go and do the others. Same way. Dielectric grease on the white and anti-seize on the threads. let's do our anti-seize now. This can be a bit messy, so watch out. I had to change out my gloves a couple of times. Alright, they are prepped. So let's look at the passenger side co-locations. We got one right there. You've got one right behind this, and then one over here underneath that hose there. Right. All the coils are held in by 10mm bolts. And just remove them with a 10mm socket. Alright, we're going to remove the connector for the coil with a small pair of pliers. Let's remove this first coil. Alright, let's check this out. Alright, let's prepare our socket wrench. So we put in the adapter first, then we put in the universal joint for the adapter, and we put our extension on top. So, and then our ratchet. Alright, let's take out the first spark plug. Nice and slow, take your time. And definitely no power tools for moving or inserting the spark plug ever. There's a first spark plug. Look how dirty that is. It is definitely time to change it. Alright, let's cover that up with a rag. And let's place some dielectric grease inside the coil here. This makes it easier getting off in the future. And we cover it up with that rag just to make sure nothing accidentally drops down into the cylinder. Alright, let's grease the mass sensor plug while we have it handy. Alright, let's place the first plug. Just put it down in the socket. It's magnetic, so you're not going to lose it. Now you want to hand tighten this. The last thing you want to do is cross thread it, because if you do, you are going to have a very bad day. So just twist it. Just go nice and slow. Don't get in a rush. Hand tighten only at first. Alright, once it's tightened, let's torque it to 15 foot-pounds with a torque wrench. Alright, now I put on an adapter right there. A 3/8 adapter. From a 1/4 inch to 3/8 for that torque wrench. Alright, first plug is done. Alright, let's replace the coil. Line that up. Let's put some dielectric grease around the connectors. This makes it much easier to get off in the future. Make sure it won't become brittle or break off either. Alright, let's put that 10mm bolt to secure the coil back on. And we'll hand tighten that first, get it started, and then we can use our electric ratchet to secure it. Alright, let's remove the second coil. So we'll remove this cover right here first. It's 10mm. Move some of these wires out of the way. Alright, before we do that, we need to remove all the connectors first. Otherwise, it just won't be able to get to that second coil. And we'll have to remove that one we just put on as well in order to get this off. So just be aware of that when you get started. Just remove them all. Alright, let's remove that connector to that second coil. It's kind of hard to see here. It's the same process as the first one. Right. Let's take that coil off. It's 10mm. Let's remove the second coil. Now let's remove the second spark plug. Nice and slow, no power tools. Just take your time. Nice and slow. Alright, there's our second plug. And you can see how dirty it is. Let's cover that up. Make sure nothing drops down in there. Alright, let's replace that second spark plug. And as before, hand tighten only. Because if you cross thread this, you are not only going to have a bad day, you're going to have a very bad week. And a very expensive problem to fix. So patience is key here. Alright, once that's tightened, torque it to 15 foot-pounds. Alright, let's apply dielectric grease to inside of the coil. Let's reinsert that coil and secure it. $10 millimeter. Alright, once that's back in, remove the third coil, then proceed to remove the third spark plug. Same as before. This is a little bit of a different angle. there's the third spark plug, and dirty like the rest of them. Alright, let's replace that third spark plug. Hand tighten only, no power tools. Nice and slow. Alright, same as before, torque it to 15 foot-pounds. Apply dielectric grease to the inside of the coil. Let's reinsert the coil, and we'll apply dielectric grease to all electrical connectors that we disconnected and reconnect all the connectors. Make sure you don't miss any. Prevents these connectors from becoming brittle. Okay, almost there. All right, let's secure the third coil. All right, let's secure the plate covering the second coil. Alright, now comes the hard part, the driver's side. This is where you wish you could shrink your hands, because it is going to get tight. So patience is very key here. Alright, we're going to take this bolt off. Alright, we're going to remove this hose. We're going to try to remove as little as possible. Alright, you're going to want to loosen this bottom bolt. It is hard to get to. Now, if you've got a helper that's got smaller hands than you do, get their help. Alright, let's move that bracket out of the way. Alright, you want to remove this bolt for this insulation over here on the far right, because the coil is behind that insulation. You can see the insulation coming out there. Alright, let's remove the fourth coil. That's 10 millimeter, just like on the other side. The only difference is it's a little harder to get to. Alright, let's remove the connector to the coil. And here's a better angle for that. I had to use a pair of the long needle nose pliers to get that one off. Okay, let's remove that coil. There it is. Alright, let's remove the 4 spark plug. And as always with spark plugs, no power tools. Nice and slow. All right, pulling it out. And you can see that dirty spark plug. All right, let's replace the forced spark plug now. Hand tighten only, no power tools. You can see that a little better there with a better angle. Nice and slow. Alright, torque it to 15 foot-pounds, just like the others. Apply the dielectric grease to inside of the coil. Remount the fourth coil. And once this is done, we're 2/3 done. Alright, remove the fifth coil and spark plug like the others. You'll have to remove this hose. If you don't, it's almost impossible to get to. That hose right there. Okay. So once removed, let's replace the fifth spark plug like the others, hand tightened and torqued to 15 foot-pounds. Apply dielectric grease to the inside of the fifth coil. Good practice to apply dielectric grease to the outside of that as well. Alright, let's remount the fifth coil. Let's get that lined up right. Okay, on the driver's side, it's best to hand tighten the 10mm bolt for the coil if you don't have a magnetic socket. Let's get it started. And the next time I do this, I am definitely going to have some magnetic inserts for my sockets. And I'll be sure to put a link to that in the description. Alright, let's remount this hose. Alright, you want to unmount these hoses over here to get to the sixth coil. And after several tries, I had to use a small pair of vice grips to get that off the connector to the coil. Alright, let's unmount the sixth coil, and you will need a very long extension. Alright, move these wires out of the way to remove the sixth coil. There it is. Alright, let's remove that sixth spark plug. We're almost there. Nice and slow. Alright, and there's our 6th dirty plug. Alright, let's replace the 6th and final plug. Hand tighten only, no power tools, and take it easy and nice and slow. Alright, let's torque this to 15 foot-pounds. Let's apply dielectric grease to all connectors and to inside of the 6th coil. Get the outside of that coil, then we'll get the inside. Now let's remount this 6th coil. And this is probably one of the more harder do-it-yourself automobile maintenance things you could probably do, especially because of the tightness on the driver's side of this Tacoma. Let's move those wires out of the way, then line it up with the threads. Now let's reconnect all of our connectors. This is very tight. All right, let's secure that coil and starting that bolt. All right, let's get that secure. Now let's put everything back together. So I lost a 10mm bolt, and I have a handy backup plan. So I lost this 10mm bolt over here for the insulation, that 4th coil, and I lost it and don't know where it went. But I do have this that comes in very handy. It's a box of Toyota 10mm bolts. So I'll be sure to put a link to that in the description below. This has come in handy so many times I can't even count now. Got a whole box of 10mm bolts. And that's what they look like. Alright. Alright. That insulation is secured now. Alright, let's remount these hoses up. Put them back the same way we found them. Now let's tighten the bottom bolt that we loosened earlier. This is tight. If you've got somebody with smaller hands than you, See if they can help out. But this is tight. Alright, let's reinstall the top bolt we removed earlier. Alright, let's finish putting these hoses back in their proper place. Secure this hose. Let's reattach the intake. Put that on the throttle body. Let's reconnect that. Reconnect the hoses. Secure that down to 10mm bolts. Secure the air filter cover there. Let's put the engine cover back on. Let's reconnect our battery and our EMP blocking system. And look at these dirty spark plugs. If you like that video, be sure to subscribe, share, like, and hit that notification bell, and we will see you next time.